This is part 2, episode 207. Yunxi opened her mouth, wishing to say something, but she found it difficult to speak. You should just return. Shahao said. He knew why Yunxi came, but how could he agree? Shahao, the clan's ancestors wanted me to ask you what they had to do to make you withdraw and leave the matter be. Yunxi finally said it. If she didn't, there was no way she could explain things to her clansmen. Have those so-called old ancestors come out. I'll settle things in one go, and then my grudge with the Celestial clan will be over. Shahao calmly said. Yunxi widened her eyes, feeling extremely shocked. Even though Shahao's tone was calm, that type of killing intent was too heavy and oppressive. He was going to unleash a great slaughter. The conditions were just too harsh for the Celestial clan, too heavy to endure. How many heavenly deities would a clan even have? The elders of the Celestial clan's higher levels were their clan's most powerful heavenly deities. If they were all killed, then this clan would suffer a sudden and devastating decline. Was he going to completely cut off the Celestial clan's higher level? In the distance, those individuals on the city walls couldn't hear their conversations, but they could read lips, and as such deduce what he was saying. All of them were unable to restrain their anger. This was just too arrogant. Just a single person, yet he was going to massacre all the high-level figures of a clan. Forget about the fact that they didn't acknowledge his strength. Even if he truly had those types of methods, how could the Celestial clan's higher-level figures just sit and wait for death, wait for him to kill them? City of Heaven was in chaos. Many people were indignant, immediately becoming noisy. Outside the city, Yunxi looked at Shahao blankly, trying to carry out the final effort, saying, I know that the clan elders and the others let you down back then, but could you show them a bit of mercy? She asked Shahao if he needed any compensation. The Celestial clan could pay all types of heavenly materials, as well as many spiritual pills, precious medicines, and other things. Shahao's reply was extremely firm, not wishing to take any steps back, saying, Yunxi, you should just go back. Because both of us are people from the lower realm, I won't make things difficult for you. However, if other Celestial clan experts try to advise me, I'll immediately cut them down. Yunxi didn't say anything, her eyes entirely red, as she silently turned around to leave. She completed her task, but the results were that she failed. She was in the middle of both parties, truly in an extremely difficult situation. Brat, who do you think you are, a long-life individual? To so easily demand my clan's high-level figures' heads, you haven't become unmatched under the sky yet. Someone erupted in rage from above the city walls. Celestial clan used to be an emperor clan, so they were arrogant from the bones. How could they tolerate this type of humiliation, be looked down upon by a younger generation figure? Many of them immediately erupted into rage. City of Heaven shone, crushing down towards Shahao. However, the 10,000 spirit diagram in Shahao's hands offered enough protection, its defensive prowess astonishing. In reality, it was unrealistic for Shahao to break into the city. He didn't have any powerful weapon to do so. The 10,000 spirit diagrams, passive-type divine creatures, wouldn't carry out a defense unless it suffered an attack. Just like that, both sides entered a deadlocked situation. Shahao was still all right, not that anxious, but the Celestial clan was different. To have their gates plugged up like this was truly a great humiliation. Meanwhile, what they were most worried about was news leaking out, triggering the mockery of all sects, that they would look down on them, thinking that the Celestial clan had completely weakened and declined. Shahao wanted to break in, while the Celestial clan wanted to suppress Shahao. City of Heaven is a well-known great treasure in the higher realms. There is no way for us to break through. Will it be good to maintain this deadlock situation? They might have some type of special methods or backing. Huolinga said, warning Shahao. It's fine, I just need to stop them for a day or two, and then it'll be enough for their reputation to fall greatly, unable to raise their heads in the higher realms. Shahao said. He was now comparable to a heavenly deity, yet wasn't strong enough to wipe out a great sect. He knew that breaking into City of Heaven wasn't realistic, but he could place them under great pressure and ruin all of their reputation. That was why after just half a day, Celestial clan already couldn't sit still, feeling too humiliated. A brat actually forced them to this extent. Not good. Heavenly deity Chituor is outside, and seeing how long he's been out, he should be returning soon. If he ends up being intercepted by the little evil, then things will be troublesome. City of Heaven's people muttered. They were extremely worried that heavenly deity Chituor, who went out, would suffer an attack. Yi, where did that youngster go? Everyone became stupefied, because they couldn't find any traces of Shahao. Below. Someone discovered him. Shahao was still within a perimeter of 100,000 li of the ancestral land, not hunting or picking medicines, but instead picking up the true deities that had been struck down earlier, interrogating them one by one. Soon after, his eyes flourished with light. There was actually a heavenly deity outside, who was about to return. This was a good opportunity. This was especially the case after hearing the heavenly deity's name. His eyes shone brightly, his fists clenched tightly. Chituor, it's you. In the past, it was precisely him who brought him from the blood plains to City of Heaven. Does anyone know where Chituor is? We need to hurry and let him know. The people in City of Heaven were extremely worried. This was but a powerful heavenly deity, yet everyone was worrying for Chituor's life. One could see how vicious Huang was in their hearts, simply a murderer of heavenly deities. Unfortunately, no one knew where Chituor was now. The whereabouts of a heavenly deity were difficult to ascertain. Shahao carefully watched this ancient land. He looked towards City of Heaven, waiting for an opportunity to arise, calmly waiting for that heavenly deity to return. In addition, he had the divine striking stone lay some formations, using them to monitor the situation and help them intercept Chituor. Too unbridled, setting these in our domain, what are they treating this place as? There were people who shouted angrily, sending City of Heaven smashing over again. Yi arrived. Shahao's eyes flourished. He didn't look towards City of Heaven, but rather at the area below. Someone entered from the outside world, stepping into the 100,000 li hunting ground and medicine garden. Shahao recognized him with a single glance. It was precisely Chituor. Hurry and hide. City of Heaven's people also discovered his whereabouts, hurriedly transmitting sound and shouting loudly. Chituor was currently in his robust years, blood energy thriving, reaction speed fast. He quickly rushed towards the sky. However, Shahao already locked onto him, activating lightning and the Kuan-Peng wings on his back, immediately rushing over. The two of them tore open the void, raising their speeds to the extreme. However, Chituor was still a bit slower in the end. No matter how fast he was, he couldn't compare to the Kuan-Peng. It's you. He recognized Shahao with a single look, his mind trembling. Several years ago, it was he who brought the hatchling like Shahao to City of Heaven, but now, there was no way to look down on him. It was because in these past few days, Huang's name had been spreading all throughout the 3,000 provinces. He displayed great divine might in immortal ancient, continuously killing heavenly deities, his power shocking everyone. Chituor used all of his divine force, making use of his entire cultivation to resist Shahao. At the same time, City of Heaven crushed down, wishing to provide aid. Shahao's eyes were burning like golden lights, incredibly penetrating. They shot out two resplendent beams of light, and he also pulled out the everlasting sword core, hacking forward. Shahao normally didn't lightly use this sword. Once it was drawn, it meant that he was truly angry. Sword light rushed into the heavens, precious techniques shocking the heavens. Bone texts poured out, drowning this place like a sea, the two clashing. A head flew out. Chituor was cut down, even his primordial spirit unable to escape, cut down by another slash from Shahao. It penetrated the space between the brows, killing him on the spot. In City of Heaven above, many people cried out in alarm, many of them then screaming loudly. That day, Celestial Clan already lost two heavenly deities. Mo Luo and Chituor were killed one after another. This was an unendurable heavy loss. How could it be like this? Why did things end up like so? In the city, a few clan elders roared in anger, truly feeling sullen. The other party charged up to their gates, yet they could only turtle up, unable to kill the enemy. Hateful. Many people in Celestial Clan cried out loudly. This was especially true for the extremist faction, their eyes long red. This was an intolerable loss. However, no one dared leave the city to take revenge. A glorious sect was now holed up within, because of one person, truly making them feel humiliation. Just like that, Shahao stayed here for a day and night, making this sect about to go mad. In the city, quite a few people asked for assistance in battle, hoping to find allies to fight with them against Huang. As a result, the city became incredibly noisy. What happened? Why is it so noisy? Within an ice palace, an aged voice sounded. It was precisely Celestial Clan's Tao Protector. Great One, Huang came, he is standing outside the city, already killed 2 of my clan's great heavenly deities. A Tao child cautiously reported. What? Huang, that young generation came and dared do this type of thing. Did that willow fiend follow him? The Tao Protector asked. He was a bit nervous inside. If that willow tree came, who could face him? It didn't, just Huang himself. When the Tao Protector heard this, he immediately left his isolation. Then, the City of Heaven's higher level received the report, immediately hurrying over to see him. Great One, your injuries haven't healed yet, please take this time to recover. Someone urged. Can I still recover? That little bastard even slaughtered his way up to our gates. I am going to restrain him. The Tao Protector's face was ashen. The great battle before left long-lasting effects. Celestial Clan's Tao Protector was lucky to escape with his life, spending all this time in isolation recovering after returning, narrowly avoiding death. Tao Protector Great One has left to kill Huang. I reckon that Great One definitely wishes to capture him alive. City of Heaven erupted with noise, everyone looking forward to seeing this fight. That old thing came. Shahao was startled. He was always using his heavenly eyes to inspect City of Heaven. As a result, he immediately noticed the Tao Protector the moment he came out. Let's hurry and leave. Huolinga advised. There's no rush. Shahao shook his head. Little evil, you still dare appear before my Celestial Clan. The Tao Protector shouted, directly reaching out a dried-up palm to restrain him. Old thing, you were beaten half to death outside Immortal Ancient Remains last time, running away as soon as you could. Now you are strutting around again. Shahao mocked. He withdrew quickly, avoiding this attack. Celestial Clan Tao Protector's expression was ice-cold, his complexion pale, lacking color. He directly leapt out from City of Heaven to chase after Shahao. Old thing, I heard that you were heavily wounded and dying, so what gave you the courage to jump out now? Shahao mocked. However, he didn't dare dally here. He hacked open the void with the immortal everlasting sword, quickly escaping, moreover readying a realm-shattering symbol, turning into a streak of flowing light, as he rushed into the distance. He couldn't fight the Tao Protector head-on. Heaven and earth surged, the void exploded. However, the Tao Protector's face was downcast. His precious technique attacks didn't display their effects, unable to hit Shahao, allowing him to escape. The Tao Protector chased after him, but was unable to catch him. It was because Shahao had a few secret treasures on him that allowed him to move exceptionally swiftly, for example, the golden realm shattering symbol the 9 great sect masters from Immortal Ancient Remains refined for him. This symbol could be used repetitively, and it also possessed extreme speed. We escaped, let's not go back. Huolinga released a great breath. Don't worry. If he was strong enough, how could we have escaped? Shahao's eyes flickered, wishing to eliminate that Tao Protector quite badly. That person is too powerful, we cannot provoke him. Huolinga advised. He doesn't have much life left to begin with, heavily injured this time. I feel like I can provoke him and slowly torment him to death. Shahao said. The Tao Protector returned without any achievement, feeling extremely unreconciled. However, soon after, Shahao appeared again, challenging Celestial Clan, pointing at the Tao Protector in City of Heaven above. The Tao Protector's expression immediately became even more overcast. He chased after Shahao again, but let him run once more. We are still going back. Huolinga was shocked. After Shahao ran, he was still going to return, continuously provoking them. Correct, force that old thing to move his muscles and bones a bit, exhaust him to death. Shahao said. After the 5th time, Celestial Clan's Tao Protector sat down to deduce Shahao's whereabouts. Great One, you must not. Someone in City of Heaven tried to dissuade him. I don't have much life left to begin with, this time even more so being heavily injured, destined for death. It is perfect to conduct an investigation on him. The Tao Protector said. If Shahao was far enough, the Tao Protector wouldn't have tried to divinate his location, but with him almost in reach, he felt like he could easily succeed. However, soon after, the Tao Protector coughed out blood, his face full of horror, injuring his great Tao foundation. Why? He is just nearby. Such a close distance shouldn't cause me to suffer backlash. Is this the wrath of the heaven? The Tao Protector was shocked, muttering to himself. However, he was unwilling to accept this result, carrying out another divination, wishing to do something before his death, suppress Shahao. This time, it was even more severe. The Tao Protector sprayed out large amounts of blood, suffering serious injuries. How could it be like this? He had also performed a divination before, knowing that Shahao was unordinary, not someone who could be peered at. That time, it was because the distance was too great, the difficulty enormous. Yet today, Shahao was just nearby, yet he still failed, impossible to deduce things, moreover worsening his injuries greatly. I want to capture him before my death. Celestial Clan's Tao Protector's will was resolute. He carried another divination, but in the end, the space between his brows split, his 7 apertures releasing blood. He muttered, how could it be like this? I saw a corner of the future, this person. Everyone in Celestial Clan saw the Tao Protector suddenly tremble slightly. He was shaken and horrified. Great One, what's wrong? Huang, the Tao Protector only spat out this word. The space between his brows ruptured, and then he released a great roar. He fell on his back, entire body bloody, thus losing his life. Heavens! Tao Protector Great One has died. This cry of alarm shook up the entire City of Heaven. That brat harmed Tao Protector to death. Someone cried out miserably, feeling incredibly mournful. We're leaving. Shahao said, bringing Hualinger away. That day, news spreads. Soon after, some people learned about what happened, becoming incomparably shocked. Huan continuously killed 2 of Celestial Clan's heavenly deities, and then exhausted the clan's Tao Protector to death, leaving those who received the news stupefied. This was clearly a great disturbance, something that shook the great earth. Sounds of weeping could be heard all throughout City of Heaven. Their Tao Protector died, body and spirit broken apart, not even a reincarnated true immortal able to rescue him. There were just too many scars left on his primordial spirit over the passage of time, and after being seriously injured recently, he now completely died. The flesh of a cultivator could be repaired, or even stolen, exchanged for a new body, but the primordial spirit couldn't be changed. It would inevitably slowly decay over the years. Celestial Clan's Tao Protector had already reached the end of his life to begin with, not having much life left. Last time, he was seriously injured outside immortal ancient remains, so he didn't have long left to live at all. This time, Celestial Clan's Tao Protector forcefully carried out divinations, trying to deduce everything about Shahao, ultimately triggering Heaven's punishment, causing him to fall. All of City of Heaven was gloomy, howls of grief and anguished wailing everywhere. Many people were crying, weeping over the death of the Tao Protector. The effects of this were too great. Shahao hated that elder greatly, but for the Celestial Clan, this was a powerful protector, so how could they not feel down? Shahao left, bringing Hualinger away from City of Heaven. It was because he knew that he couldn't break his way in, so he might as well leave rather than stay here to prevent unexpected things from happening. However, the effects of this were too great, not calming down after his disappearance. A crisis was slowly brewing, shaking up all directions. Did you guys hear? Huang visited City of Heaven, demanding an explanation. He killed 2 heavenly deities in a row, and then even tormented their Tao Protector to death. Is this real? It sounds too absurd. Celestial Clan's Tao protector was a great figure in the past, incredibly powerful. He died just like that. This truly was a major event that shocked everyone stupid, all of them feeling that this was inconceivable. Even if an emperor clan of the past declined, it shouldn't have fallen to this extent, right? A single youth plugged up City of Heaven, issuing his challenge, moreover achieving this much battle results. Isn't that just some rumor? No matter how strong Huang is, he still wouldn't dare provoke a previous emperor clan, right? Why isn't it possible? Huang and the Celestial Clan have a great grudge between them, this time acting decisively and powerfully. He brought a woman with him, plugging up the entrance, suffocating Celestial Clan, until they didn't dare display anger. News spread, all sides in uproar, as if a hurricane swept through this place, the effects incomparably far-reaching and long-lasting. Huang has achieved so much, yet only 20 years old. He already has such methods and strength, in the future, not many people can keep him in check. Wu, a youngster like this is worth getting close to. I heard that a few great sects are moving together to try and rope him in, for example, their most brilliant pearls might be married off by the clan. I heard about this too, for example, heaven-mending sects most pure and holy, never to marry holy lady seems to have some close relationship with Huang. Many people were discussing this, bubbling with noise. However, Shahao didn't pay this much attention, traveling with Hualinga to a few mountains and valleys. This wasn't purely sightseeing, but also a type of Tao comprehension. The places they went to all had great historical significance, like the cold pool that a true dragon was suspected to have resided in. The mountain ridge of Phoenix had lived in seclusion. Shahao was in the holy sacrifice realm, not entering the heavenly deity realm, because his cultivation wasn't that stable. Traveling through these well-known ancient lands was beneficial for him. Holy sacrifice wasn't something bitter cultivation could pass through. One needed a calmness of the heart, a sublimation of the spirit, great willpower, and others. The endless world of mortals, this was the heart tempering of holy sacrifice. For the greater half of a month, Shahao and Hualinga walked through the mountains and rivers, and then entered a few well-known enormous cities to experience worldly affairs. Only a month later did they finish this type of journey. It was because unknowingly when they had returned to Xin province. During this period of time, they continuously used transport formations to travel from one place to another, visiting many historical sites and scenic spots, to the extent where they even took a trip around underworld Earth, watching the black haze rise, death energy overflow into the heavens. Xin province, these two stopped. Let's go pay Fire Emperor a visit, Shahao said. He wished to see Hualinga's father. That middle-aged man had previously helped him in the lower realm. Now, he and Hualinga were walking together, their relationship intimate, so there was even a greater need to visit him. Why are you suddenly thinking about this now? Hualinga asked. Visiting the respected wife's father is naturally something I need to do. I want to marry his daughter sooner. Shahao laughed. Hualinga blushed with embarrassment, directly giving him a punch. Fire Emperor was extremely unordinary. Regardless of whether it was boldness or cultivation, both were great and extraordinary. Spiritual mountains stretched across, multicolored clouds curling about, ancient trees luxuriant, spiritual medicines plentiful. As soon as they saw this, approaching this place, an enormous vicious beast roared, quickly throwing itself over. It was like a little mountain as it stepped on the void, its aura ferocious. What does this fella eat every day? Why did it end up so big? Shahao was stupefied. That was an enormous wolf, the fur covering its entire body sleek, shining like satin. There was a pair of wings on its back, large like a mountain peak as it descended from above. It was precisely the little wolf. After not meeting for a few years, it had already grown into a huge beast. Linga. This enormous wolf descended, quickly shrinking until it was a foot in size. It then rushed over to the two of them, and then looked towards Shahao. You came back from Immortal Ancient. Little Wolf looked at Shahao, feeling joy and excitement. Shahao laughed, lifting it up in one go. This little fella was quite attached to him back then. Even when Hualinga fed it spiritual medicines, it still always jumped into Shahao's embrace, angering Hualinga, until she called it a thankless wretch. Ayo, why are you so heavy? How much meat do you eat every day? About to crush me under you. Shahao teased, rubbing its head. No way. My figure is wonderful. Little Wolf widened its large eyes, correcting fiercely. Female. Shahao laughed. Go die, I'm not going to be nice to you anymore. Little Wolf was furious, struggling free, and directly jumping into Hualinga's arms, ignoring him. Where is my father? Hualinga asked. Went on a trip again, I don't know when he'll return. Little Wolf replied. Fire Emperor was a carefree person, often traveling around to comprehend the truth of heaven and earth, cultivating his own Tao. However, he was quite considerate of his own danger as well. Back then, it was precisely him who headed for the Fire Mulberry Forest, bringing Hualinga and Little Wolf with him to this place. However, Hualinga feared that Shahao wouldn't be able to find her when he came back, so she changed her appearance and wandered about that area again, turning into a mulberry leaf picker. Sigh, what a pity, missed the Fire Emperor again. Shahao said with a sigh. You'll see him in the future. Hualinga laughed. I originally wanted to discuss a bit with the old man about when I'll escort the bride. Turns out he's not here. Shahao said with a smile. What are you randomly spouting? Hualinga's face became red. Little Wolf even more so widened its eyes, rolling around and saying, You are going to do something bad. Shahao immediately gave it a knuckle, saying, When adults are speaking, why is a little wolf like you trying to join? Who said I was little? Little Wolf was upset, immediately turning into its original body. With a honglong sound, it turned into an enormous mountain, crushing Shahao below. If it was a normal person, they definitely wouldn't be able to handle it, but Shahao produced an enormous golden light hand, immediately supporting it. I want to go out with you too as well. When it was subdued, Little Wolf cried out. Guarding this place was extremely dry and dull, it wanted to leave a long time ago. Just like that, 2 people and 1 wolf went on their way again, traveling through the great provinces. At this time, they heard quite a few rumors, feeling shocked. The higher realms were no longer peaceful. There are ancient worlds beyond the 3,000 provinces, the 9 heavens and 10 earths have formed a great alliance. Things truly are unfolding on a magnificent scale. Is Shahao going to go? The 9 heavens 10 earths heroes are all gathering, unexpectedly going to construct a holy academy, immortal academy, heavenly deity institution, and other things, really is shocking. Shahao and Hualinga were both startled. He hadn't had time to understand the details of the outside world after leaving Immortal Ancient, while Hualinga resided in the Fire Mulberry Tree Forest the entire time, not paying too much attention to these things. They unexpectedly learned that the selection of the heroic geniuses had already begun, the qualifications rumored to be extremely strict. This was especially the case when there were foreign young experts serving as gatekeepers, defeating who knew how many people, stopping who knew how many geniuses of the higher realms. Heavenly deities that cultivated immortal energy. Sweeping everything before them, forcing back the heavenly deities of the 3,000 provinces, the foreign guests really are powerful to a ridiculous level, to the point of leaving everyone speechless. Even though Shahao had heard a bit, he didn't deliberately seek out news. He became a bit interested now. There were people who descended into the 3,000 provinces from beyond. What kind of people were they? Just how strong were they? Really want to take a look to see how formidable they are. He didn't fear a challenge. Didn't you hear? The foreign heroic talents wish to fight you, exiled immortal, and 10-crown king, impossible to dissuade. Hualinga said. During this period of time, the foreign guests were unstoppable, defeating who knew how many experts. They were practically all defeated in under 3 moves. The 3,000 provinces could not calm down recently, the cultivators who came out from their training in Immortal Ancient all unable to lift their heads, because all of them were defeated under the foreign guests' hands. The 9 heavens 10 earths were now forming an alliance, wishing to nurture true supreme being heroic talents, searching everywhere. The final heavenly deity institution might not even be built in the higher realms. Hualinga was worried, because this might mean that they had to separate. It would be too difficult for her to enter this so-called Heavenly Deity Academy, because those extremely powerful talents all failed, unable to pass the trial. It was rumored that until now, not a single person succeeded, not being selected. We've been too isolated recently, should find some place to understand more details. Shahao said. The 3,000 provinces were extremely large, with great amounts of cultivators. Normally, there were all types of exchanged meetings and other things. Shahao scouted about, finding out that there was a distinguished meeting that was precisely going to take place in Green Province, rumored to be a gathering of the outstanding talents of different clans. Invitations were sent out to quite a few great provinces. It was rumored that they all wished to enter the Heavenly Deity Institution, take on the trial, and then head into the world beyond, wishing to become stronger. They all had the same goal, because the discussions would all be on this topic. Then, Shahao learned that the foreign guests, while defeating opponents everywhere, this time, they unexpectedly made their way to Green Province, moreover coming here in an extremely serious manner. Shahao arrived uninvited, entering an enormous city. He was going to see what exactly was going on. It was rumored that many powerful cultivators were preparing, wishing to be selected and thus rise up, entering the so-called Heavenly Deity Institution. This video will end here.